I know you locked the door. I was there when the metal of the key turned and the click echoed through the empty hallway of your house. I saw your shoulders slump, heavy, carrying a burden you don't show anyone when the living room lights are on. I saw you sit on the edge of the bed and the silence became so dense it felt suffocating. In that closed room, where the world believes you are strong and unwavering, I saw every tear that escaped your eyes. I heard your crying, that sob stuck in your throat that you try to muffle with the pillow, so no one hears, so no one asks questions you don't know the answers to. Stop what you're doing now and breathe. This encounter is not a coincidence. I stopped time and moved the heavens to interrupt your isolation, because your secret and your pain have reached my throne. You thought you were alone in that twilight, watching the sliver of light under the door, but I was sitting beside you counting every tear. Today I come to confirm that what you have experienced in secret will not go unnoticed. There is a question that hammers in your mind in the early hours of the morning. How long, Lord? And what I will reveal to you throughout this journey will open a void in your soul that only my presence can fill. If you remain with me until the last word, I will give you an answer so clear that your heart will finally find the rest it has sought for years. Just as I heard Hannah's cry in the temple, when only her lips moved, I understood the language of your silence. If this touch of my spirit is reaching the depths of your soul now, right below your name, the country and city where you are seeking my face, and tell me what time the clock shows at this moment when I have decided to meet you. As you write, feel the weight lifting from your shoulders. Perhaps your soul wants to cry out now as a sincere outpouring before my majesty. Let this cry spring forth. Lord my God, I am here. I signed up because I love you and want to hear from you. Feel the peace invading this space. But I haven't shown you everything I saw in that room yet. There's something you whispered between sighs, something you thought I wouldn't take seriously. At that exact moment when you felt like you couldn't breathe, something happened in the spiritual dimension that you haven't yet perceived, and it's about this invisible weight that I want to talk to you about now. If this truth has found a home within you, leave your love in this video so that my voice can reach other weary hearts. Do you know someone who also cries silently? Send this message as an act of care. Tell me one thing. What do you feel weighs most heavily on your heart today? Write the word presence in the comments. There's still a part of your story I need to remind you of, something that happened when the lights went out and you felt forgotten by everyone. I saw you walk into the kitchen that deep night, where the silence was broken only by the mechanical hum of the refrigerator and the rhythmic beating of your own racing heart. Your bare feet felt the cold of the ceramic floor, a shiver that ran through your body, but it was nothing compared to the ice that seemed to have taken over your soul. I saw your hands tremble as you tried to hold a simple glass of water, and the fragility of that glass seemed a mirror of your own life. One stronger touch, one more piece of news, and everything would shatter into 1,000 irreparable pieces. At that moment, you stared into nothingness and felt that the air weighed tons. The weariness wasn't physical. It was the invisible weight of decisions you had to make alone, of words you swallowed so as not to hurt others, and of a loneliness that not even a house full of people could fill. Many times you have questioned whether I was too busy with the vastness of the galaxies to notice the trembling in your fingers or the smudge of dried mascara on your face. But listen carefully. The moment your knees almost touched the ground and the burden became unbearable, my hands were not merely watching, they were beneath yours, supporting what you could no longer hold. When you felt you were about to collapse, it was I who kept the structure of your soul standing. I am the one who, as Psalm 147 verse 3 says, heals the brokenhearted and tends to each of their deepest and most secret wounds. I do not look at you with judgment for your weakness, but with the tenderness of a father who knows the resilience of every fiber of your being. You carried the weight of a family, of a grueling job, or of a dream that seemed to have died before it even blossomed. But why do you still try to hide from me what I have already seen in the dark? That feeling that the sky is made of bronze, and that your prayers bounce off the ceiling and back, is just a fog that fear created. I was walking through that fog while you sobbed. However, there is something you haven't yet realized about that specific night, a detail I changed in your story while you thought all was lost. If you feel that my hands have sustained you this far, leave your sign of gratitude touching the heart of this video, so that this comfort may reach other souls who also walk in the shadows. Have you ever felt your strength was at an end, and suddenly a new breath arose without explanation? Tell me now, in the intimacy of our dialogue, what do you most want me to carry for you today? Write in the comments our word of trust, my sustenance. But I haven't shown you everything yet. I saw the exact place where you tried to hide your greatest pain, and what I will do in that hiding place will surprise you. I see when you look at your often tired hands and wonder how you could repay the constant care you have received from my presence in your most difficult days. Know that gratitude is the sweetest perfume that rises to my throne and opens windows of blessings that your natural eyes cannot yet imagine. Therefore, in this moment of profound intimacy and communion, I extend a special invitation to you, born from my own Father's heart to your daughter's heart. If it is possible for you, only if your spirit feels this peace and this calling, transform your gratitude into a real seed of love for this channel that carries my voice and my comfort to so many afflicted hearts around the world. Consider my infinite love and the total surrender of my Son Jesus for you, and contribute using the link I have prepared in the description of this video and also in the first pinned comment. There, you will find the portal where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. You can contribute any amount you wish. If you feel like giving something different, simply type what your heart dictates at that moment. Always remember, accept only what fits with absolute joy in your soul, for I receive each gesture with a smile of approval. The material amount doesn't matter. What truly matters to me is the purity and heartfelt surrender with which you give. For know that what is little for you can be a great miracle and sustenance for the one who receives this word. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, don't forget to include your name and city, along with your gesture of faith. On the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and page Divine Love, the Voice of God. Your name will be remembered, mentioned and covered by divine blessings released in prayer. For it is written in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 7, "Each one should give what he has decided in his heart to give, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver." Every seed sown in faith is a memorial forever. I see in secret and will reward you. But stay here with me now, for what I have prepared for you to hide has not yet been fully revealed to your eyes. If your soul feels that this is the time to blossom, leave your sign of communion and enjoy this message. Have you ever felt that a small action changed your whole day? Tell me with all your sincerity, what seed of hope do you wish to plant today? Write your statement in the comments. I am grateful. But listen carefully, for the silence of your hiding place holds a secret that I'm about to unveil. You believe that the walls of your room are the limit of your existence, but my vision knows no barriers of bricks or concrete. When you locked yourself in that small space, where the smell of old wood from the closet or the coldness of the bathroom tile were the only real things to your touch, I was there, occupying every inch of shadow. I see through the layers you use to protect yourself from the judgment of men. To the world, you are the woman who solves everything, the man who does not bow down. But in the hiding place, I see the child who still fears the dark, and the soul that sobs for an embrace that hasn't come in decades. Many times you looked at the ceiling and thought that your ceiling was the limit of your words, but I tell you that the moment your thought formed, even before it became sound, it already echoed in the immensity of my kingdom. For it is written in Psalm 139, verses 7 and 8, "Where can I go from your spirit? Or where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there also. There is no emotional abyss so deep that my light cannot penetrate. I found you in that hiding place because I never left your side." That night when you felt the weight of the silence in the empty room, and the only sound was the clock on the wall marking the hours of a cruel insomnia, I was counting the beats of your heart. I saw when you pressed your hands against your face, trying to contain an anguish that has no name, only form. What you call isolation, I call an opportunity for intimacy. It is in secret, far from the lights of the church, far from the eyes of the neighbors and the demands of the family, that I begin to mold your new character and restore what was broken along the way. I don't need you to use pretty words or memorized prayers. In hiding, I accept your raw truth, your weariness, and even your silence laden with sorrow. Let my peace now fill those voids that fear has left. If you feel that my light has crossed the doors of your heart today, show that you receive this clarity by savoring this encounter. Share this word with someone you know who also hides to cry. In the depths of your silence, what would you most like to shout to me if you knew that no one else would hear? Write in the comments our word of revelation, "You see me, but I haven't shown you everything yet." There's a daily remedy I prepared for those nights of crying, something that goes beyond a moment and becomes a constant companion. And I want to give it to you now. I know that the early mornings are often heavy, and that the weariness in your eyes reflects a soul searching for a safe haven where it can finally rest. I see when you wake up and feel that the day will be just another exhausting battle, a burden you don't know if you'll have the strength to carry until sunset. If your heart desires to go deeper with me and transform this solitude into a powerful encounter, know that I have left you a gift in the form of a journey that I wrote with much love and care for all my beloved daughters and sons, the digital book called Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. It was carefully prepared to accompany you day after day in silence and intimacy, being the daily remedy for your fears and the light for your darkest paths. Access to this spiritual treasure is also in the link in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. And listen tenderly. If today is not possible for you, do not condemn yourself or feel distressed. Stay with me here in this message, because I too will sustain and strengthen you through these words of life that I release now, and so that your heart may rest and not be confused in any way. After you register, access will arrive quickly in the email you registered, containing all the correct instructions, step by step, to begin walking beside me in a new and profound way. For it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." Use this devotional as a constant companion in your nights of weeping and searching, for it is the bridge to the peace that the world can never offer you. Breathe calmly now, trust in my sovereign guidance, and allow me to continue taking care of every detail of your story as we move forward. If this invitation touched a wound you were trying to hide, leave your sign of communion by liking this message and subscribe so that my voice never ceases to echo in your home. Have you ever felt the need for clear direction and a hug at dawn? In the silence of your heart, what is the promise you most need to hold on to today? Write the word, "My company," in the comments, but I'm not finished talking to you yet. Your crying wasn't just a release. It became a pure prayer that moved something you thought was stagnant forever. You thought you were just losing strength, but in reality, you were talking to me without saying a single syllable. To the world, crying is seen as a sign of defeat or fragility. But to me, tears are the purest language of a soul that can no longer pretend everything is all right. I saw when you pressed your forehead against the cold window pane and let the warmth of your tears mark your tired face. At that moment, each drop that fell was not a waste, but rather a phrase written in my eternal book. I collected them one by one, keeping every trace of your pain as something precious. People around you often ask for words, explanations, and justifications for your sadness. I, however, only asked for your heart. And it was precisely in the midst of that desperate cry, while the clock struck 3 in the morning, and the silence of the house seemed to scream, that your groan became the most powerful prayer that ever ascended to the throne of glory. It was not a prayer of pride, of empty rituals, or of memorized words. It was the sincere cry of one who recognizes that, without my hand, tomorrow would be nothing but an endless desert. For it is written in Psalm 56, verse 8, "You have kept count of my persecutions. Put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? Yes, they are recorded. I did not let a single drop be lost on the cold floor of your room or disappear into the fabric of your pillow. Each tear you shed is a seed you planted in fertile soil during the darkest night, and what springs from that pain is not what fear planned for you. Where despair foresaw your end, I saw the necessary fertilizer for your rebirth and your spiritual authority. Many times you stopped trying to talk to me because you thought you had nothing more to say. But I tell you now, your silence, wet with tears, screamed louder than any song. Now, as you listen to my voice, feel this gentle warmth in your chest. It is my confirmation that the harvest of joy is already ripening, even as you still wipe the corners of your eyes. But pay attention to what I am about to reveal to you. While you cried and thought nothing was happening, I began to move the will of someone you believed would never again look upon you with mercy. If this peace is reaching you at this moment, leave your sign of love by liking this message and subscribe so that my voice may be your refuge in each new dawn. Share this video as an act of spiritual charity with that person you know is heartbroken today. Answer me with all the sincerity of your soul. In the midst of your greatest anguish, have you ever felt a sigh of relief that seemed not to come from you, but from something much greater? Write in the comments our word of faith: He hears me. I saw the tears, understood the prayer, and harvested the seeds. But there is still something you need to know about the door I have decided to touch with my power at this very moment. You spent so much time looking at the walls of this room that you ended up memorizing every little crack in the paint and the way the dust dances in the rare beams of light that pass through the curtain. This place, which should have been just a temporary refuge, ended up becoming a kind of emotional cell where you got used to living. But I tell you now, the time of confinement is over. I saw when you tried to force passages that were locked and how your hands were injured from banging on portals that the world sealed with the padlock of indifference. Today I myself descended to your waiting room to touch that door that you already considered a definitive part of your landscape of pain. Feel the cold metal of the doorknob under your fingers now. For a long time it seemed too heavy, jammed by the rust of time and the disappointments that accumulated like rubble behind the entrance. But when I decide to act, what was blocked yields to my sovereign touch. I am releasing a new season upon your life, an opening that does not depend on the favor of men, your bank account, or your earthly connections. It is a door of peace, discernment and restoration that I place before you at this very moment. For it is written in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8, I know your works. See, I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. For you have a little strength, have kept my word, and have not denied my name. Yes, you have little strength now, and I know it. But my authority does not depend on your physical robustness, but on my eternal faithfulness. This door that I open today is not for you to merely look at what is outside, but for you to walk courageously away from what has hurt you in the past. But pay attention to what I am about to tell you. To cross this new entrance, you cannot carry the chains that bound you to the old room. There are memories that you still hold so tightly that your hands are raw. And it is about these scars that still throb silently that I need to speak to you in the next step of our journey. If you feel that the key of my providence has turned in the lock of your life today, leave your sign of reception by liking this encounter and subscribe to continue hearing my instructions. Share this message with someone you know who feels trapped in a dead end. Let your heart answer me. What is the barrier you most wished I would remove from your path today? Write in the comments our declaration of victory, open door. The light entering through this new passage is beginning to illuminate corners of your soul that you still fear to look at, and it is there that my balm will now touch you. There are drawers in your soul that you locked years ago, throwing the key into a sea of forced forgetfulness. I saw when you piled up grudges, betrayals, and words hurled at you like stones, hiding everything under the rug of routine so the world wouldn't notice your spiritual limp. Often, a simple aroma of brewed coffee on a rainy afternoon, or the tone of a similar voice in the crowd brings you back in the blink of an eye to that grey day when your heart broke. You try to look away, but the scar throbs, reminding you that the past still demands a high rent for your peace. I saw when you tried to convince yourself that time would heal everything, but time is only a marker of days. I am the one who heals eternity within you. I know the face of that person who hurt you, and the weight of the silence that remained in place of the explanation that never came. I was there when the lump in your throat prevented you from screaming, and when you swallowed your pride to maintain order, in a house that was already in ruins. Feel my touch now, like a gentle oil penetrating the cracks of your memory. I did not come to stir up your pain merely for the sake of stirring it up. I came to cleanse what has inflamed and to remove the shards of resentment that prevent your path from being light again. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 43, verses 18 and 19. Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I am releasing upon you the forgetting of what limits you and the remembrance of what strengthens you. Those scenes of abandonment that repeat like an old film in your mind will be replaced by the vision of my care. Where there was the musty smell of sadness, I am blowing the freshness of a spring morning. Do not fear looking back now, for I stand between you and your past, acting as a shield and a restorer. I will transform your victimhood story into a testament to overcoming that will leave your adversaries perplexed. If you feel that my hand is now touching what no one else could touch, leave your sign of surrender by liking this message and subscribe so that my voice may be the remedy that is never lacking on your table. Has it ever happened to you that you remembered something painful and suddenly felt a peace that makes no human sense? Tell me, in the intimacy of our conversation, what memory do you wish to give me so that I may transform it into ashes today? Write in the comments our healing word, divine balm, but I have not yet shown you the banquet I am preparing before your fears. Something your enemies will be forced to contemplate from afar. While the world outside screams that your time is up and your hands are empty, I am working silently in the main room of your life. I saw when you felt as if you were hiding in a cave, living on crumbs of attention and scraps of hope. But look at what I am doing now. Listen to the soft sound of the dishes being placed on the table, the clinking of silver, and the aroma of the warm bread that I myself prepared for you. It is not just any table, it is a banquet of honor, and the main place has your name engraved in letters of light. For it is written in Psalm 23, verse 5, You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Those who whispered that you wouldn't make it through that night of weeping, those who mocked your faith, and the very fears that roared like hungry lions around you, will now be forced to watch from afar. They will see my hand serving you, my oil flowing over your brow, and the abundance I poured where before there was only desert. The cold morning wind that once frightened you is now blocked by the warmth of my presence that fills this space. You will not have to beg for a place or be content with the scraps that others leave behind. Where you were humiliated in secret, I will exalt you in the sight of all. Feel the texture of this new moment. It is firm as a rock and comforting as the embrace you so longed for. You no longer need to fight to be seen, because I have singled you out from the crowd and brought you to my private table. But know this feast is merely a sign that your night is truly over. A light is beginning to shine through the crack in your window, a brightness you haven't seen in a long time, signaling that the sun has finally decided to rise for you. And what this dawn will reveal about your tomorrow will change the way you walk forever. If you feel that the table is already set and that your honor is arriving, leave your sign of faith by liking this message and subscribe so that my voice may be your guide every day of your life. Share this video with someone who feels forgotten and small. Tell me with an open heart, what is the fear you want me to silence definitively before this feast? Write in the comments our word of honor, divine feast. The crack in the window is shining brighter now. And what I will show you when the light floods the room will heal your weariness once and for all. Bring your face close to the sliver of light that now insists on piercing through the heavy curtain of your room. For so many hours, darkness seemed to be your only faithful companion. But I tell you that the night, however long and dense it may have been, does not have the power to stop the advance of the sun that I myself ordained to rise upon you. See how the dust particles dance in the beam of light that touches your blanket. Each one is a silent reminder that life goes on and that renewal is knocking at your door. The chill of dawn, which once penetrated your bones and made your soul tremble with uncertainty, now begins to give way to a gentle warmth that I send as a caress straight from my throne. You thought that midnight cry would be your last act of strength, but look at your hands now, bathed in the glow of dawn. They are no longer empty. I have filled them with the resilience that can only be acquired in the silence of suffering. The world may have slept while you battled your inner demons, but I remained awake, orchestrating the precise moment when light would conquer the shadows. For it is written in Psalm 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." And this morning, my daughter, my son, is not just the beginning of another ordinary day. It is ground zero in your reconstruction. Feel the freshness of the air entering through the window. It is the breath of life that I breathe upon your dreams, that you thought were dead and buried. The light that now floods the room is revealing that the scene of pain you saw in the dark was not the complete reality, but only a part of the process. Now, with clear vision and a warm heart, you will begin to see the colors I painted for your new season. The weariness that weighed on your eyes is being washed away by a living water that only I can provide. But don't rush out into the noises of the world. Stay here with me a little longer, for at the height of this dawn, I have a final word, a secret of strength that will be your armor for everything that comes from today onward. There is something I whispered to your spirit at the beginning, and now the time has come for you to hold this key with all your faith. If you feel that the light of my kingdom has dispelled the darkness of your soul today, leave your sign of gratitude by liking this message and subscribe so that my voice is the first you hear upon waking. Share this dawn with someone who is still trapped in the darkness of the early morning. Tell me with all the peace of your being, what is the first thing you want to do now that the light has finally arrived? Write in the comments our declaration of light. My dawn. Be silent for a moment longer. The final answer you have been searching for in the dark is about to be delivered directly to your heart. Now that the sun fills this room completely, and the weight of your tears has transformed into a lightness you didn't know was possible, I want you to look inside yourself. See the structure I built while you thought you were crumbling. You are not the same person who locked that door hours ago. You crossed the valley of silence, survived the weight of the invisible, and now you stand, nourished by the banquet I served before your fears. The journey we made together in these moments was not only to comfort you, but to clothe you in an authority that is born only in secret. In the place where no one saw you except me, feel my peace sealing each of your wounds that were exposed and treated. What happened here was not a simple conversation, but a divine intervention in your story. You sought a sign, and I gave you my presence. You sought a way out, and I showed you that I am the way. Take the warmth of this encounter with you to the streets, to your work, to your dinner table, and to the eyes of those who doubted your ability to rise again. You are ready to walk in my light, without fear of what tomorrow may roar, for the Lion of the tribe of Judah walks beside you. Remember that phrase I promised to whisper to your heart, the one that would be the key to your new season and the answer to your weakness. The time has come for you to declare it for the spiritual world to hear. This is my final confirmation for you. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Write this powerful phrase in the comments right now as an act of faith, of surrender, and as a sealed answer to heaven. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. As you type these words, feel the strength of 1,000 generations flowing into your spirit. For it is not your strength that sustains you, but mine that is perfected in your surrender. I still have much to tell you and many mysteries to unveil on your journey. Do not stray from my voice. Continue listening to what I have prepared for you in the upcoming messages on this channel, for there is a playlist of love and revelation awaiting your soul. Remain connected to my heart, for our conversation is only beginning. Receive my fatherly kiss on your forehead. Go in peace, for your cry has been heard. Tomorrow is no longer a mystery but a promise.